Minneapolis, the final frontier. These are the voyages of the USS Ford Fusion. Its continuing mission to explore strange new car parks, to seek out new life excuses, and young women with puppy dog eyes to harass, to boldly bullshit like no one has bullshitted before. Captain's Log, Stardate 06-15-2024. We are approaching a gaseous bloviator, planetary class 73. Appears to be clinging on to life. Currently in the process of being murdered. Prime directive? Avoid at all costs. Hey, what is going on, crew? We are back on the USS Ford Fusion, taking a deep journey into the suburbs of Minneapolis with Paul B., our intrepid captain. I sometimes like to call him John Luke Blowhard. Alright, this was meant to be his final video. It was meant to be his sign out. It was meant to be the final captain's log. But I guess it was an adjoiner or an addendum to his previous video. So I'm guessing he's given himself a time extension. You know, like if you ever played Outrun on the old like Sega Dreamcast, you'll understand what I mean. All right, let's go for it. Paul, engage.
Dear Diary, as much as I want to just get this over with,
Dear
the final goodbye message and get on with it, it occurred to me that after that last entry about holocausts, I should not omit a discussion of what happens to people who commit holocausts.
Spank with a bum and gotta mow the lawn for the next week.
So, for the people out there, especially the attorneys, prosecutors, and such, perhaps journalists, people need to think in terms of punishment for this crime. And the problem is, many lawyers are ambulance chasers. Most lawyers are to the law what a mechanic is to automobiles. You know, they follow checklists, diagnose, troubleshoot, and they fill out forms, replace parts, they conduct repairs, file lawsuits. But they're just mechanics. They're just going through this repetition of the same their whole career. And it's not to say that they're not serving a function. They are, but most lawyers are not caring about justice. Justice. There are people out there who do that. You know, the Innocence Project is trying to do that to get justice for people who are imprisoned for crimes they did not commit.
And yet you cut them out of your will. Because they didn't send you an email or something like that.
And Jerry Spence's law office there in Montana, I believe. There are attorneys who do that, and
yeah, I think he wants like a Nuremberg style like criminal court trial for American Music Supply. He wants all the execs and HR department to file in, and they'll sit down and they'll be like the Goering or the Goebbels or the Hess or whoever was sitting trial at that Nuremberg. And yeah, he wants them tried and hung, and no one is going to get the cyanide capsule. Everyone is going to be like, you know, doing the jig from the noose.
The thing is, we don't remember the lawyers today. They go through their lives, they go through their careers. We don't even remember who they are because that's all.
Yeah, I don't even read. I mean, Johnny Cochran's the only one that really hits for me, and then outside, like, then there's like a whole bunch of TV lawyers and like a Lionel Hutz or a Saul Goodman.
They did. They were mechanics. Nothing wrong with that. Mechanics do a great job keeping people's cars running. The mechanic lawyers, you know, help people with those legal needs. But without those higher-end attorneys who are seeking justice instead of money, the law doesn't really serve us at all.
Yeah, he wants like a Roe v. Wade sort of precedents to, like, he wants to like have something that's going to be written into law and is going to be remembered for years to come, like a Roe v. Wade where people will be talking about it for years. I think that recently just got overturned, so nothing's like particularly set in stone. But yeah, he wants his lawsuit to inform every lawsuit going forward. So it's going to be Paul's lawsuit, or Paul v. AMS.
All. And that's why we remember people like William Jennings Bryan and Clarence Darrow and Oliver Wendell Holmes, and we don't remember all the ambulance chasers. What's happening to me here is a textbook opportunity for one of those kinds of lawyers. A William Jennings Bryan, someone of that caliber. My case is a textbook opportunity for them to set precedents that would finally hold corporate America, and human resources in particular, accountable for their inhumanity.
Yeah, he's definitely like put feelers out to like maybe local lawyers in the area, and they've all told him to like go kick sand, because he probably wants it done pro bono, and like they've probably got a lot of like cases going on at the moment, and if they like take time away from a busy schedule to do Paul's lawsuit, that will go nowhere and ultimately fail. Yeah, it's money out of their pocket.
And what I don't understand is why any attorneys could watch what I'm going through and just sit there and say, well, I'm just going to let this guy die. Maybe the next time this happens, I'll help that person. Maybe it'll be a pretty girl that it happens to instead of an ugly old man. I'm not...
I mean, it would make a difference if you came in and you are just a stunner, a complete smoke show, and you've got the cleavage hanging out, you've got the long legs, and you're a bit sultry and seductive. Yeah, I could see a logo. All right, honey, what are we going to do for you?
Grasping how people
forward, it's just like, oh shit, you stink, dude.
Can watch for 3 months what's happening to me and just say, well, we'll just let this guy die. That's okay. You know, maybe the next one I'll help. I don't understand that. And when I said in the previous entry about Holocaust that human resources at American Musical Supply, that it's obvious what they're doing is because that is their character or lack thereof. Hurting people, exterminating a human being, a fellow person, a fellow coworker.
Exterminate. What if like the HR like secret Daleks, like they are literal Daleks who are on a mission to exterminate Paul? Think about it.
Killing someone, it's okay with them. They don't have any problem with it. And they're demonstrating that. They are demonstrating right in front of the world's eyes that they don't care.
Yeah, the whole world's watching. It's like the moon landing. Everyone is just sitting in front of their like you know, their old CRT you know, radiation box, huddle around these YouTube videos going, oh, what's going to happen to Paul? Oh God, this I can't stand it. I can't watch.
Again, I'm not of that mindset.
Or there are people like, yeah, this is definitely fake. This is a fake thing I'm watching right now. They've staged this. This guy's an actor.
I don't understand people. We took actions that were guaranteed to give this guy a death sentence. We've had 3 months to change our minds and make it right, and we've done absolutely nothing. I mean, in addition to the premeditation at the beginning, you now have 3 months of opportunity to rectify it, and they refuse to do it. These people belong in a system of punishment that is commensurate with the crime they've committed. Now, yes, the backstabber is a master manipulator. And I mean a master. Remember, I've studied manipulation and rhetoric and propaganda and all these forms of manipulation for more than 3 years, and she fooled me. Nobody is immune to it. That's the whole problem.
Yeah, she's like the Moriarty to his Sherlock. The Kira to his L.
Why I study it. That's what makes it so dangerous. In my 30 years, she is as good as anyone I have ever seen at manipulating people. And that's what makes her so dangerous, though. That's the whole point I've been trying to make all along. Nobody is immune to manipulation, but the thing is, it didn't take me that long to figure it out, did it? It took me basically a matter of days from the time that she showed her true character. It took...
You know, it was too late in the end. You found out too late. You identified that she was a backstabber manipulator too late, and then you were fired. So, yeah, you should have got a little bit wiser, and then you figured it out earlier, and then don't fall into a goddamn trap of the goddamn backstabber.
Very, very quickly, I could figure out who she was, and that she'd been a lying manipulator, misrepresenting herself the whole time I'd known her prior. Well, what did I do with that? I changed the way I interact with her. I changed what my goals were. I changed things like this. But human resources refuses to do that. They will not look at the obvious. I mean, like in the Monty Python and the Holy Grail, and they all come up. He says the cave is guarded. They have to get into is guarded by this ruthless creature, and they get up there, and all he sees is this little cute little bunny rabbit, you know, cute with a big smile and puppy dog eyes. And they're like, it's just a bunny rabbit. Yeah, it's all scared. And one guy says, I crapped my pants. I was so scared. Oh, you don't understand this. That's no ordinary rabbit.
Just remember, guys, this is a guy who's dying. He's being murdered. It's like a torturous process. Every moment is complete and utter pain on a level you will never understand. Yet, you know, he's cracking wise about Monty Python.
This is the most cruel...
I guess you get, every now and again, you've got to take a break from the torture and have a laugh.
Bad-tempered rodent you ever set eyes upon. And one of the knights says, all right, one rabbit stew coming out. And he goes up with his sword, and the rabbit just decapitates him instantly. And then one knight says, I just crapped my pants again. This is what the backstabber is, and it looks like a cute little bunny rabbit to people who aren't paying any attention, but it is damn dangerous. Human resources should have figured that out. When that wizard Tim was telling these knights to fear the rabbit, they're saying, how could that thing possibly pose a danger? And he's saying, it has big, sharp teeth, and it can jump. Look at the bones.
Yeah.
Because where the rabbits run around from the cave, it's just littered with human bones. And he's saying, why don't
You know, when that wizard was talking about the backstabber, you remember that time.
you look at the obvious? Look at the bones. Well, what was it over the holidays when the entire office, every single person in there, could see that something had absolutely decimated me, such that I was not behaving like I had behaved for the 7 years I'd been there. Something had me so depressed that I looked like I just wanted to die, such that one of my supervisors, who I really don't even know that well, gave me a $600 guitar that he paid for to try to make me feel better.
Yeah, imagine that. Like, imagine coming into work every day and this guy's moping around like a sad sack. He's really annoying. He's like slouching around. He's like dragging his feet through all the office space in the corridors and just generally being irritating. So the guy was like, okay, what can I do? What can I do? What do we have in storage that I can just give him right now? Oh, well, maybe this Gibson or a Les Paul or the Stratocaster. Give him something just to like get him in a better mood.
He could see how much damage something had done to me. He may not have known what, but after I revealed to human resources what it was that caused that damage to me, look at the frickin' bones. And that was only attack number 1. Then you had 2 other attacks. She gives me permission to give her a gift. I give her the gift, and she immediately complains to her supervisor about it. He comes over and tells me they're not going to HR with this, which made no sense because there's nothing to go to HR for. 2 days later, I'm sitting in HR's office because she went to HR. There's nothing but lies, misrepresentation, no way for me to plan or to know how to speak or what to say, what to do, because everything around me is misrepresentation, lies. I can't. How does any normal person function in an environment like that? She lied throughout. Everybody lied. And then
You're like in a hedge maze that's like foggy and it's just lies, deception, like this false entries and exits and like pitfalls. It's all stacked against you, Paul.
HR lies after that. Yeah, fill out this form. It's just fact-finding. Right. It is hypocritical for human resources to claim that after that ringer that the backstabber put me through, where someone gave me a $600 guitar to try to pull me out of it, that's how bad she had decimated me, that it's just hypocritical. That after she puts me through all that, HR claims that I should be punished for something that I did when I'm acting on nothing but false information all around me. Remember, when I figured out who the backstabber really was, what did I do? I started doing research. I'd already had suspicions about drug abuse way before that.
Yeah, he found a crack pipe outside of his office one day, and I think this is where it all comes from. He saw it on the ground and was like, oh my God, what if she's the like crack smoking junkie that's affecting her work and making her act irrationally towards me now? I got it. So this crack pipe right here, I found it just near the office. Thus, it must be the backstabber or her clique that are like Scarface level drug runners and drug fiends, and that is why she's doing what she's doing, because the drugs are bad. Okay.
I started researching what to do, how to do it, and I did all that before I took those steps. I even told my manager what I was doing. This is not harassment. This is deliberate action. And for them to never even speak to me, how...
It was never deliberate. It was indirect action. Like everything you sent to her was like, and you never really talked to her about it. It was just all this indirect probing for information. And every time she probably got it, it was like, what the fuck is this guy going on about? I don't understand. He's annoying me.
How are they supposed to figure that out? In the end, human resources is an authority. Their big heads make them think they're a major authority, and in a case like mine, they have the ability to murder a human being. But they're just an
yeah, they're authority and kill a minority.
Authority in a corporate entity. This homeless person, this homeless employee who worked there for 7 years, living in a car, and had been homeless 2 years prior, outclassed human resources in every single way. They were nothing but incompetent. They didn't do research and learn facts. They didn't recognize.
But you were fired. You were like, that they popped you easily, dude. Like, they got rid of you lickety split. Like, how did you outsmart them?
What a lying manipulator this backstabber was when it was obvious. Total incompetence.
No,
they were absolutely negligent. I was not. I took action because action needed to be taken. That's not negligence.
Have you tried restarting the router? Have you done an Alt-Shift-Delete?
That is being responsible. They were malicious. I was not. The closest thing I came to malice, and it certainly wasn't, the closest thing I came to anything that someone could even try to twist and contort into looking like malice, was the second drug test I did, the second wake-up call. The first wake-up call was to see if I even got any response at all.
Yeah, it was on some like WordPress blog of his, and it was it's probably like hidden in like some sort of motivational speech or some sort of endless, screed of his, and then all of a sudden there's like, are you having problems with substances at the moment? Or do you recreationally use them? Or have you dabbled with them in your younger years? Like something like ridiculous like that. And she's just like, what does this have to do with anything?
And it was designed in such a way that I couldn't get a response unless the backstabber was hard into illicit drugs. It couldn't happen. And what did I get? I got a response that was far worse than I ever dreamt was even possible. That told you what was going on right there. Wake-up call number 2 was exactly what all these people I consulted said is the next step in an intervention. You have to let the person know how it has affected you personally. Whenever you see an intervention, you have people there reading something that's written, and it explains to the person.
Yeah, he's watched too much of that intervention show, I think, with I think he had a bald head, like Jeff, I think his name was, and yeah, he would the families would come in and they would all get together and say, look, we have to get our crazy teen daughter in here.
I'm walking on sunshine. I wish I had a father.
Yeah, she's run away with like a local thug and she's messed out and her life is like spiraling out of control. And we have to give them an ultimatum. It's the drugs or life. And the bald Jeff guy he was a real hard taskmaster. He wouldn't take any bullshit. It was either, you want the help or you don't. I won't deal with this. And yeah, Paul is Jeff, really. He wants to be Jeff.
Person to let them know your drug abuse has had this impact on me. It hurts. It tells you that. That's what the second drug test was. It made it perfectly clear to this person how badly they hurt me.
And also, like, what does it even matter? Like, why would it even matter? If let's just say she does have a big problem. She loves the drugs, and the drugs love her. She loves the lifestyle. I mean, if she's turning up to work, doing her job reasonably competently, I don't understand what the problem is. She's like lighting up right in front of me, or like blowing smoke in my face, or um, something that's going to affect me. Like, I don't give a fucking shit. I mean, I'm pretty sure I've worked with like alcoholics and dependents and probably like people who are strung out half the time anyway. It didn't really bother me outside of like sometimes you look into their eyes and you can like see the blacks of their eyes is like tiny and their eyes are like bloodshot red and you're like, ooh, what are you up to right now? But otherwise, it's just like, it's neither here nor there for me.
If they're not having that brought to their attention, what's going to pull them out of this endless high that they're on? So there's nothing malicious about that. That's what every intervention on the face of the earth does. Nothing different. And yeah, I made it pointed. I made it perfectly clear, but I had to do it because I'm not able to converse with this person in a normal manner. So you've got to make it count while you can. And again, who knows if they would even see it? I don't even know why they were looking at my personal website. This person clearly didn't care whether I lived or died. They're the ones who are going to my personal website to even see this. I'm not the one calling attention to them. Hey, go look at this, check this out. They went there on their own volition.
You sent it to them. You sent it in a group chat or something like that. And you sent it maybe in a personal message to her. You sent it to her. How the hell would she find it any other way?
So what Human Resources did goes far beyond any kind of conceivable remedy that a mere corporation should be able to impose on a citizen. Like, what they did was a crime against humanity. And I'm going to show that. They literally gave me a death sentence. They exterminated me. And they did it with full foreknowledge because I told them over and over and over. I not only told them that this would be a death sentence, but even before the backstabber had filed that complaint, I had warned all my supervisors that the transmission on this car could leave me stranded at any given moment and be ready for it if I call you. And as soon as the backstabber filed that harassment complaint, I told HR as well, not only is this already a death sentence, but I'm driving a death trap with a transmission that could go out on any given day. So they knew everything about this in advance.
Yeah, it's emotional blackmail, dude. Like you're putting the onus on them to basically baby you, to put you in a cradle and protect you from yourself because you're so helpless that you didn't look after this damn car. You didn't look after the USS Ford Fusion, and you've let the underbody rust out. You've let the engine and transmission completely go to pot, and you're taking no responsibility for that. I have to get my car repaired soon because there's like critical things coming up that I need to address. Otherwise, there are going to be problems down the line. It's going to cost a lot of money. I'm pretty pissed about it, but I also understand if I want this car running as well as it has, I'm going to put the time and the effort and the resources into getting it fixed. Do you understand, Paul?
They cannot claim ignorance. It is impossible. They knew it. And they did it anyway. That is intent. They cannot claim ignorance, and they cannot claim, I was just following orders, by saying, oh, I did what my HR textbook told me to do. I did what our corporate policy told me to do. Really? Well, let's see how other people who follow checklists and policies and procedures, let's see how they came out. This group here, 794 of them were hanged at Nuremberg for making that claim.
Shit. I thought it was like 20, 30 people that got hanged. Maybe I'm thinking of like the main trial. Nuremberg hanging. Executions. On to Looks like only 11. You got Goring. I think he killed himself beforehand, like the night before. There's Hess. Keitel, Rosenberg, Ribbentrop, Fritz Sackel. How many died though? Nuremberg trial, how many hanged? 10. 10. How did you get 700 out of it? Unless there was like multiple trials. Yeah, it's just 10 guys. It was the top brass, so maybe he's using alternative facts.
Criminals from the Third Reich. They were hanged. It would have been more, but at least one of them killed himself in prison, so he didn't have to suffer the public spectacle of being executed for his.
Yeah, Goering, I think. He got smuggled some cyanide and he kept it in a false tooth or something like that, something like that. And then on the last night, the Americans were pumping him for information and they were playing him off someone else, like another Nazi was. Yeah, that the Americans were playing them against each other, and he gave up a lot of information, a lot of secrets. And then when he thought he was getting closer to the day, I think he knew intuitively to, and they let him see his wife one more time with the kids, and then that was his moment. He knew, so they didn't get him.
Crimes. When the Nuremberg trials happened, this was something new for the world. Remember, they had the United Nations didn't exist until after World War II. When the United Nations came together, this was all the nations saying we have to come up with certain laws and rules that apply universally, that supersede what's going on in the nations. And they did it originally with things like the Nuremberg trials. The Nuremberg trials had 7 principles, and the purpose of these 7 principles was for the whole world, through the United, or not through the United Nations in this case, through.
All right, I'm gonna go. Let's go about 90 minutes on. Oh, that'll good. He's getting angry here.
Persecutions on political, racial, or religious grounds. Persecution, against people who hate homeless people, acetophobia. In execution of or in connection with any crime within the jurisdiction of the tribunal, whether or not in violation of the domestic law of the country were perpetrated. That last part is very important. Whether or not in violation of the domestic law of the country were perpetrated. In other words, in this case.
Where did that blanket come from? That looks like it came out of storage. That's when he did his little storage run and got like 5 things out. It's either a bag or a blankie with it's a little donut, teddy bear, or a gingerbread man. And that must be like a cinnamon scroll.
It doesn't matter what the policies and procedures in American musical supply are. It doesn't matter. If you do something that exterminates another human being or persecutes them or commits gross acts of inhumanity or deports them unjustly, like they did when they locked the door and threw me out in this car, took me away from the people I considered my family, dozens and dozens and dozens of people, and left me with nothing, completely isolated. You can't do that and just claim that our corporate policies make it acceptable because there's a higher law. There is state law. Minnesota's a useless state, but there is federal law. What American musical supply human resources did to me is characterized above all else by willful extermination and gross inhumanity. They knew what was going to happen to me, and they did it anyway, and there was no justification for it. One of their longest term employees, someone who helped to open that office, nothing but the best documented reviews, performance, attendance throughout, liked by coworkers, loved by customers, no history of disciplinary action. The perfect employee. It's inexcusable that after 7 years, without even speaking to me, telling me what the charges are against me, or giving me a reason, they just fire me. I am a classic example of somebody who they could have found an abundance of alternatives to do. They willfully chose the extermination route. End of story. They willfully chose it because they knew that this was a death sentence. In the United States, extermination of a human life and gross inhumanity that causes what they call pain and suffering or something fluffy, emotional distress. Emotional distress. They put me through human torture, endless. And I haven't.
Yeah, that's. I think what they were saying. The backstabber had is emotional distress, and he looks at it like a real. He has the boomer view on it. It's like that's a pussy way. That's not real. It's bullshit. I don't accept it.
Just had this the 3 months since they threw me out at the office. I've had it for 6 months since the backstabber began this over Christmas. Half a year. In the United States, these actions are subject to fines and compensation to the victim, but it is also a criminal offense subject to prosecution to the fullest extent of the law, up to and including incarceration in prison, or, in some cases, the death penalty, like they had at Nuremberg, as they should have, because the crime was that severe.
Yeah, my dad, like when my dad was alive, he got really into the History Channel, And the History Channel was pretty like neutral. Like I always remember that it had a good range of like documentaries and stuff like that, and good shows. And then all of a sudden, they got on a real big Hitler kick, a massive Hitler kick. Like everything was World War II all the time, around the clock. And he was just completely like engrossed in it after he retired. Yeah. I just think like Paul has literally watched too many History Channel documentaries on the Holocaust, and it's completely warped his mind.
If you look at the International Criminal Court at The Hague, Article 7.
Yeah, when I came to visit the and I'm walking up to the house. I can hear the TV like blaring, and it's like, and then the Nazis came through Hungary. We'll be back after the break.
Is a later definition of a crime against humanity. Quote, for the purpose of the statute, crime against humanity means any of the following acts when committed as part of a widespread or systemic attack directed against any civilian population with knowledge of the attack. These people had foreknowledge. A, murder. B, extermination. C, enslavement. D, deportation or forcible transfer of population. Again, lockout. E, imprisonment or other...
Oh, Lord. What are we going to do? 25.
The human resources had full and prior knowledge of exactly what the consequences of firing me would be. They needed to have one damned good reason for firing me. Like me pulling out a gun and waving it in someone's head or face or something like that. That's what they needed. Not an employee
Paul, put down the fake gun.
who sincerely cares about a coworker and wants to save their life. That is not a good enough reason. That's no reason. Remember, one of the first things out of my mouth to human resources after the backstabber filed this malicious complaint was, and I quote, "This is murder," unquote. I told them early, I made it perfectly clear, and the reason I did it is because it was true and it was accurate. And human resources blew that off completely. They were upset by the fact that I said it instead of being upset by what I said.
Yeah, they'd be like, "What are you talking about? What do you mean murder? Like, are we plunging a invisible knife into you right now that we're not aware of? Let us know what we're doing to you, Paul. Like, who is in the room with you right now, Paul?" Because they don't understand what the hell you're talking about, because you use words in such weird and like backwards ways that no one really understands except you.
That should have concerned them when I tell them that it's murder. Because remember, I am the person who was there with the backstabber all this time.
But like, shame on them for not knowing that you're a complete invalid. You don't really know how to look after yourself. Everything has to be done for you. You have to have this job. You have to have everything around it, or else you are basically a baby in the woods with like no way to help yourself, no way to survive. You're just gonna die.
All of our interactions, other than just bantering with people sitting in chairs around us, were between me and her. It was just the two of us, no witnesses. I know what that person is like. They don't. But they could if they would just open their eyes and see the bone.
Then give us can you please give us a few examples? Paul, I know you watch this channel. Can you please just give us a handful of examples of conversations you've had with the backstabber? Because I swear I have heard nothing of any kind of back and forth between you guys. No conversations, nothing. It's always been this. I've handed her a podcast. I handed her the gift. I asked her once to join me for Christmas dinner. It's just like, was there anything else of note that you can mention? What was the context of like the relationship? What was the nature of the conversations? Like, we have nothing. We have nothing to go on.
Bones. The bones.
The bones.
Right in front of their eyes. They have not a leg to stand on. Nothing. They have not even tried to figure out what the truth is. Unconscionable negligence. When the Nuremberg trials opened, the American representative, U.S. Supreme Court Justice Robert Jackson, he was the American chief prosecutor at Nuremberg. In his opening statement, he said, and I quote, "The privilege of opening the first trial in history for crimes against the peace of the world imposes a grave responsibility. The wrongs which we seek to condemn and punish have been so calculated, so malignant, and so devastating that civilization cannot tolerate it being ignored." Because
I got it. Guys, I got it. His next job, I got it. Let's get him set up at a Holocaust, like a Holocaust museum, and he'll be your guide. And he will guide you through all that, like, so you go to see the like pictures of the Jews who were exhausted, skinny, malnourished, on death's door, and it's really provocative imagery. And he'll guide you through, and he'll tell you all about the girl he couldn't like that one Nazi, the one Jewish girl that was killed by the Nazis, and he couldn't pronounce her name right. And then there was a guy in the comment was like, "Dude, you completely screwed her name up. Don't comment on shit you don't know about."
The beaten, swollen, and bloodied young girl in these photos was named Czesława Kwoka, or, as she was known to the Germans, prisoner number 26947.
Comment on shit you don't know about. Like, yeah, you could be a Holocaust museum guide tour. That is perfect. Like, you are really passionate about it. I don't know if you're of a Jewish persuasion. I don't know if that matters, but it probably people would likely hire someone who has Jewish ancestry, or maybe not. I don't know. But there you go. There is a job that you could probably do okay. Okay. Unless there's like a very beautiful Jewess with, very large doe eyes.
Because it cannot survive it being repeated. Unquote. If I can't survive what I'm going through, then if the same thing happens because these people can get away with it, or because they enable the backstabber so she can just do this over and over again, and she feels the power to be able to do that, we cannot tolerate that. People cannot survive having this repeated, because it's murder. The point of all this is that a truly good lawyer, not an ambulance chaser, not a mechanic, but one of those greats, William Jennings Bryan type, if they want to go behind being
Lionel Hutz. Let's get Lionel Hutz.
a legal grease monkey and actually impact the world they live in, the nation, and our future in a positive way, they would immediately recognize that what happened to me here is a crime. It is a crime against humanity, in this case directed against me. It needs to be litigated in a supermassive lawsuit against American musical supply. This cannot be tolerated. The wrongs which we seek to condemn and punish have been so calculated, so malignant, so devastating, that civilization cannot tolerate it being ignored because it cannot survive it being repeated. American musical supply needs to be held to account. And the only way I can survive, and I hate this...
He's so worked up about this lawsuit. I thought he was going to start driving into the woods soon. Like, he knows his life's about to end. Now he's completely re-energized by the class action lawsuit that's going to like set the tone of the nation. All HR departments will be banned completely. Yeah, he's really worked up about this. It's given him a new lease on life. Look at that face. What a cutie. Cutie.
Because I don't care about money, I care about income. But the only way I'm going to survive this, given that I can never trust anyone ever again thanks to these people, and it's going to take months for me just to get over the trauma and the torture before I can just get a clear head again, if it's even ever possible again.
Wait. You're dying within less than a week, the last time I heard. You haven't got months. You've got like maybe 72 hours.
If it's ever possible again. These people destroyed me. So
I do like how he trips himself up sometimes. He's like, he doesn't probably notice he mentioned months, and his mind went, I mean, even if I have that long, yeah, that's what I meant.
Some manner to spend the time I'm going to need to try to overcome this if it's even possible. So in that sense, I do need a freaking lot of money, and I don't even care about money. I care about earning an income, earning my own way, having that dignity, and they stole it from me.
Dignity.
There is no way to win. They've already committed the crime, and it was devastating.
Again, they cannot call the bullet back after they pointed their gun at me and fired. I think I've seen an anime where you can do that.
There's no way around it. In some manner, way, shape, or form, I need to be compensated for the torture and this terror and this endless loss that I've suffered at the hands of these people. But all I have are lawyers just sitting back and doing absolutely nothing. Same thing everyone else has done. And allowing me to just...
Wait. I thought they tried to give you hush money. I thought they tried to... It wasn't like a severance thing, but it was more in line with, hey, you signed this thing. It's a bit of a under-the-table agreement. You don't talk about it. We'll just like part on neutral terms. No one talks shit. We move on with our lives. And Paul was like, yeah, this is a Holocaust. I'm being murdered. And they were like, oh, whatever.
Just die right in front of their eyes. This should set a precedent. So that other people who come after me who have this happen to them in corporations have a much easier time getting justice. But where are the attorneys who are going to make that happen? Where are they?
Yeah, he's a real Aaron Brockovich.
If we'd seen this much apathy toward the European Holocaust, as you're witnessing toward the American Homeless Holocaust right here, then
Oh yeah, so I was thinking about this, like, why do you keep referring it to that as the European Holocaust? Like, European Holocaust, and it was like, what's the distinction? It's the Holocaust. And then I forget he uses the branding, the American Homeless Holocaust. So it's the American Holocaust he's going through right now. So it's the Raw to the SmackDown,
794 Nazi war criminals would not have been hanged at Nuremberg. They would have gotten away with the Holocaust right here. Then 794 Nazi criminal war...
All right, well, I'm going to find this goddamn number. 794 hanged. 794 Nazis hanged. Nuremberger. 21. I keep saying 20. sentenced 12 and 12. All right, so I think it was like 12, and then like Goering, I think he self-eliminated, and maybe someone else died because it was like a lengthy trial. All right, so he's either completely wrong on the number, like totally wrong, or there might have been follow-up trials where, um, rank and file were put to death, possibly, or the Germans did it themselves. So whatever the new German government that came in after the Nazis did this, they said, all right, we're gonna clean house now. But it probably wasn't tied to Nuremberg. Yeah, I think the number he's throwing out is completely bunk.
War criminals would not have been hanged at Nuremberg. They would have gotten away scot-free. The people who committed the Holocaust would have just gotten away with it scot-free. If you saw the same apathy you're seeing here with people watching me die and not stopping it, if we'd seen that back in 1946. American Musical Supply did not fire me. They attempted to exterminate me. They knew exactly what the consequences were, and I did not commit a fireable offense in the first place. The only so-called offense I committed was caring about other people around me, wanting to protect their lives, to protect their jobs, to protect their privacy, and to protect their livelihood. It was the backstabber who made it public what my suspicions were about them, not me. The backstabber did that themselves, and yet.
Yeah, she probably mentioned to like her coworkers, like, this guy thinks I'm railing cocaine every 5 minutes. Like, I think that's the implication, because Paul would say, oh, they always went to the toilet like every 10 minutes, and it was, it was really, really weird, and I had my suspicions on why they were doing that. It was like, maybe she's got IBS, maybe she's got a bladder problem, but his suspicion was that she was like, doing bumps all the time. And then he kind of caught on to it, and then the reason she went to the toilet was to like hide the fact that she was doing bumps. And then she said to a coworker, "Is like, this guy is off his fucking rocker, dude.
I'm being punished for something that I did everything I could to prevent from happening. They're the ones who made that public, not me." And through it all, the backstabber has just been coddled and petted and supported and kept employed.
No, I do want to pet the backstabber. Backstabber.
Even though they attacked one of their coworkers so profoundly that everyone in the office saw it. And the supervisor gives me a $600 guitar to try to make me feel better. Look at the freaking bone.
Yeah, I love how he's turned this on the supervisor. Like, the guy tried to do a nice thing for him, and now he's like, actually, this was just, it was hush money. It was just go away. It was like he didn't actually care about me. He just wanted to give me something to shut up, which, could have been the truth, but also he maybe just like felt so bad he wanted to do something nice for Paul to make him smile again. The happy-go-lucky Paul we love.
AMS has no leg to stand on here. They did nothing right. They did absolutely everything wrong. Meanwhile, I did everything right, and I did nothing wrong. And I went to great pains and efforts to make sure that I did everything right. Documented. So where are the attorneys? Where are they? Where are the attorneys to help me find justice? Right now, today, as I record this, I am alive, and I want to live. But if someone doesn't take a stand to help me hold American Musical Supply accountable and to get me whatever it is I need so that I can have a life worth living and survive it without losing everything I've worked my entire life for, if I don't get that help, I will die. Right now, I'm alive.
And get that help for us. There's no way to really contact you, Paul. Like, you've insulated yourself against all YouTube. Like, people can't talk to you directly. People have actually offered to give you money and like offered you accommodation and all sorts of solutions to your problems. But because you don't interact with anyone on your channels, or at least this channel, it's impossible to actually give you that help. What if someone is like right now going, I know the lawyer for you, Paul. I've got him. He's absolutely top of his game. He's passed the bar 25 times in a day because he's so good. And he will bring your case to the Supreme Court, and like, he's just going to whip these judges. He's going to make sure they agree, and like, no one can contact you, so that's a problem.
At that point, I will be dead. We are right in the middle, and nobody is stopping this. It's like all those people who watched the Holocaust happen right in front of their eyes in Germany, and they did not behave like Schindler. They did nothing.
Imagine Schindler putting him on the list. Like, all right, we need to get Paul Lohardowitz out of Auschwitz, but he's really, really annoying. Actually, maybe I'll take him off the list.
So I ask this of any attorneys out there who want to be a William Jennings Bryan or a Jerry Spatz. If they want to be something more than a greasy legal mechanic, then I ask you this. If the life
You asshole. You just said, like, oh, I don't really mean it as a dig against, like, the rank and file lawyer. It's just, you know, but now he's like, oh, you greasy piece of shit, dog shit, ambulance chasing garbage men.
Threatening brutality, the sadistic savageness that I've experienced from American Musical Supply is not enough to get you working on setting a precedent to stop this kind of corporate inhumanity. Then how many people do have to die before you finally will take action on this?
Good question, Paul. And I will think about this, and I'll muse on this for the next 3 seconds. All right, I'm good. All right, guys. Another Paul video. You know, every time I make a Paul video, I'm thinking, wait. I thought he was meant to be gone. I thought this was the sign off. It was all done and finished. But I think, like, by the time I've recorded this, he'll upload like 5 more videos. All right, Captain's log. We are warping out of this fucking thing right now. Engage!